Welcome, everyone. We are back, the CANDU Sports Show, with your host, Scott Blair, and
Donray Bennett, what it do, peoples?
we're so glad to be back. And there's a whole lot going on in the sports world. So we thought we'd jump on in and provide some commentary on what's going on. First, happy Easter. We're sitting here broadcasting live. Happy Easter, Passover, however you may observe. Hope you all are doing well. We want to break down the men's and women's tournament action now that we're heading into the championship games, and we'll talk a little bit NBA playoffs. But let's start with the women's bracket. Donray, what are you thinking? We got UConn, South Carolina controversy. Of course, Gino now has issued an apology, curiously did not include Don Staley's name in the apology. We had UCLA beating out Texas in a pretty tough, gritty game. So now we got the Bruins versus the Gamecocks in the final. And of course, on the men's side, we got your squad. We got Michigan, and then my wife's squad, UConn. So we got a lot to chat about. Where do you want to start? You want to start with the women's bracket?
Yeah, let's start with the women's, because one, it's probably the biggest
Juicy,
point of contention.
spicy.
Yeah, and even between us, I mean, that's the UConn household over there that you've surrounded yourself with, and uh, I'm a Dawn Staley, North Philly ride till I die type person. Although I love Gino as a coach, I remain constant in saying that he is one of the best coaches, basketball coaches ever, if not the best, definitely top three, regardless of level that I've ever, had the pleasure of watching. So, but I did predict UConn to the final. I did have it right.
Okay.
So I can't say I'm surprised. I am surprised at how that came out. If you want to focus on that
Yeah.
Final Four matchup, because I did not think I figured if it was a big if UConn was going to be bested by anyone,
It was going to be them.
my thought was there was no real way defensively you were going to be able to shut them down. I just didn't think it was possible. There's too much talent everywhere on the bench coming off at all times. Like, I figured at some point, whatever, if you had a first five that could somehow stymie them, they would get tired. You know what I mean? Eventually, UConn will break through. So I thought if someone was going to beat them, it was going to be someone who catches fire and is just lighting up threes, and they outscore them on some, 90-point game or something. I didn't think anyone would be able to shut them down defensively. And so that's where, I'm not going to act like I saw it coming that way. But
Right.
I mean, 26 points at the half held them under 50.
Yeah.
And
First
and
time in
part of
4
that,
years.
I mean, it was defense, but it was also UConn missing open shots and
Yeah.
layups and stuff. So, and I know the refs played a part, but I still think that defense flustered them, and they weren't themselves. They never got into a rhythm. I mean, they had a little run there in the second half. I was like, uh-oh, here it is. Now it's over.
Yeah.
But it never happened. So shout out to the effort and attitude by South Carolina. To me, was just otherworldly. It was like Bobby Hurley at Duke type stuff or Woj. It was just a full 48 nonstop play to their max. That was like the exemplar effort. Coaches for a long time are going to be putting in that tape to show what it looks like to play 100% beginning to end, nonstop defense attitude. This is what can happen. You can stop a
Hmm.
54 game win streak. So, um, loved it. And then, UCLA proving me and a lot of others wrong, just waiting for the shoe to drop left and right, and it just wouldn't happen. And I really thought Texas was going to. I thought they were playing the best team ball going into the tournament and throughout the tournament. And hats off to the UCLA program because did not see that one. Um, didn't see them in the final. Didn't see it coming to this. So shout out to them. How about you?
I'm with that. I'll start with UCLA. I did think that they were going to get themselves there, and especially once we had the Final Four kind of locked in.
Hmm.
I'm actually trying to recall who I had in the bracket. I think it was them, but it might have been Duke. I may have had a Carol Lawson kind of riding the wave. I'm trying to think there about how that bracket played out. I might be wrong. Um, but once we had these four, Lauren Betts is a force to be reckoned with. Their coach does a fantastic job of putting them in positions to be successful. And Lauren Betts is a post player that we probably have not seen in the tournament since probably going back to Brittany Griner. It's like
Mm,
she's a force, so in my opinion. It's not just her, but she causes havoc around the basket for the other team, and you saw that, and I think that really bothered Texas. Um, I think she should be the number one pick in the WNBA draft. I think AZ Fudd played
really?
herself. Yeah, I think AZ Fudd played herself out of that slot um, with her game over the last couple of games against Notre Dame and then, of course, against South Carolina. That's just me, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, so hats off to UCLA. I am picking them to win simply because of Lauren Betts against South Carolina. They both have comparable games around the post and around the basket. I just think Lauren Betts' size, I think, is going to be a problem for South Carolina. So now I'd like both of them to win. I love Dawn Staley. I love Dawn Staley. Going all the way back as a kid, watching her play at UVA, right? Like Dawn
Hmm.
Staley, like I'm there. But there's just something about UCLA and the run that they're on. I think it's kind of the way to kind of that's the way it would end. It was with them winning. And man, I've got a mental freeze. UCLA's coach, just blocking her name in my head. She's fantastic. It'll pop up in my head. I don't know why I'm freezing on that right now. And then yeah, on the UConn side, we've seen this so many times. I mean, we even saw this in the Super Bowl with Seattle against New England. When you've got finesse against a power defense, usually the powerful, strong defense is going to win out. And that's
Yep.
what happened, right? UConn was not able to overcome the physicality of South Carolina. The both games were officiated allowing for a lot of physicality.
Close. Corey, sorry.
Yeah, Corey Close. Thank you. Bam,
Sorry.
Corey Close. Thank you. Appreciate you. Corey Close. She's fantastic. So just want to give flowers and roses there to solid coaching. And Vic too with Texas. He does a really nice job there, in my opinion. But yeah, whenever you've got physicality against finesse, physicality usually wins. Now, I will say, looking at both of those games, I have not been a fan, and folks can look at the past episodes of our podcast. I am not a fan of how the women's game is officiated, both on the
Hmm.
collegiate and the WNBA side. I think they allow way too much contact. And then you go watch the NBA product, and it's the exact opposite. You can't touch anybody, and it's a foul. Um, and that takes away from the game. Um, did I hear Gino's comments after like, there's a whole lot to unravel there, right? But just sticking to the X's and O's, when you have that kind of physicality, and they're fantastic at it. Like I love the way that they coach it. Just good, solid hand checks, good, solid pressure in the post. You kind of couldn't handle it, like you said. They scored 48 points, right? And that's the stat. They have not. This is the first time since 2022 in the NCAA champ. It's the first time since 2022 that they were held under 50 points. And in 2022, when they were held under 50 points, who was it against? South Carolina. So, just amazing. And maybe that's part of the transition. I think that's part of the spice. Not to be cavalier, because what happened at the end of the game is not cool at all. But you do have two Philly people, and I love I love what Don, and you can relate to this more. I'm not from Philly, right? But her saying, "Hey, I'm from North Philly." Meanwhile, he's from Norristown, right? Like
Right.
I've got some right. One of my mentors who she commented that to me. Shout out to Dr. Kelly Kenny. She's like, "There's a difference between being from Philly and being from the suburbs." So that's kind of what you got at play here too, right? But also, South Carolina's been winning. I think. Oh gosh, I think it's 6 out of the last 9. South Carolina has beaten um, UConn on.
UConn.
So I hear all of it. Is this a Pat Summit, and then it became Muffet McGraw for a minute, and now it's done. Maybe. it could also be two folks from Philly in a very competitive game where UConn beat the bejesus out of South Carolina last year in the final. I mean, they beat everybody. Like UConn just decimated everybody last year, with the exception of USC and Juju. Um, so there was a lot of tension going into this game, and you just have competitive people going at it. Like I'm with that. Like I'm cool with that. I don't like what happened at the end of the game, but we can talk about that a little bit more in a second. But you've got two competitive folks. If people are in their feelings about what Gino said at the end of the third quarter, then stop interviewing coaches during the game. I'm not a fan of that.
I hate it.
Yep, same, right? Because when you do that, guess what's going to happen now? People are going to start responding the way Greg Popovich did, where it's just a couple of,
Yep.
just random comments, just kind of keep it
Hmm.
moving. So yeah, so that's a couple of things on the X's and O's, and also on the emotion of the game itself.
Yeah, and I know you've never been a proponent, or you've been outward spoken about the handshake line afterwards and doing away with it. Um, and I'm with you on it. Like I feel like it. I like it, especially at the younger ages. And then if you're gonna do it at the younger ages, it's good to model it. Uh, but this, of the many reasons that you've given before that I agree with, this isn't one. I think
That's fair. That's fair.
a paid professional should be able to conduct themselves in a manner um, that when 99% of the times coaches are perfectly fine in handshake line,
Yeah, I'm
then
with
that
that.
that outlier shouldn't be a reason why you don't do it. And now that these students are getting paid, the
Yeah,
expectation falls on them as well. That's where this whole NIL thing to me is raising the bar, because once you're getting paid, regardless of the manner in which it's happening, you're crossing the threshold of amateur to professional, which we've all said for a long time is the case. And if that's the case, then you should be able to conduct yourself professionally. If you're representing a brand, or if you're sponsored or whatnot, then the expectation is that you carry yourself a certain way. And so,
yeah,
um, but yeah, I think my thing is, I think this is a case of Gino just being a sore loser. I
yeah,
know in the past,
yeah. I think it is too.
I think how he loses and when he loses sometimes dictates, how he acts, which I think is the case for most individuals in the world. However, um, I think this one got the better of him, maybe the stakes and everything, and I think how he lost. I mean, to be dominated defensively is hard to wrap your head around, because he prides himself on preparing his girls mentally, physically, mentally. Like there's no conditioning challenge that they can't meet, and there's no mental challenge they can't meet. And you saw that. I mean, with the slight breakdown of one of the players after missteps at the end of the game, but other than that, as soon as the game ended, they congratulated, they moved, they ran, they jogged with their heads up to the end, to the locker room. Like they carried themselves well. They were mentally prepared for that loss, which was out the blue for them.
Yeah,
First time in a year and a half.
yep,
But he wasn't. So they were prepared for that loss. He wasn't. And
yeah,
and and I just there's a difference between, I think he's definitely bright enough and has enough acumen to evaluate what's happening in the game and then also what's not. And so yeah, you can look at your kids and then also look at the officials and whatnot. But I just think after a while he threw his hands up. Like there's no offensive set we can call. With they're switching off and having a 5'9",
yeah.
you know,
On
guard
Sarah Strong, yeah.
basically, fronting and I mean they were doing every little thing right.
They were
And so
just, yeah,
now you have to come to grips with not being out coached but out prepared. That team came in wanting it more, had the attitude, had everything that you preach is your team's strength, and your team was ready, but they were more. They were better.
they
Like
were,
that's hard to swallow. You could swallow your team just being 0 for 15 from the three. You could swallow them, one of their players
which they
catching
were.
fire, right? And one of their players catching fire and just shooting their lights out. You can't swallow not even be able to get into your set, or
Yeah,
active hands and feet, and not no passes being easy. Like not
yeah,
one
yeah,
pass not being deflected. Like South Carolina did all the little things right. And there's, you know, they play that game 10 times. I think UConn wins 8 of them, but
Yeah. That
that
one?
that one with that effort that South Carolina came out with, they were just I think they remembered last year. Dawn probably had them watch that tape over and over,
It was in their head and they were
and
focused.
the only thing I worry about is that being some of those kids' championships and not coming out ready to play against UCLA.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think that'll happen, but
You could see it
it,
though.
it, I don't know you can get up that high again. Like the
Yeah.
level that they got up for that game was another level. And UCLA, as you said, they've got a little bit of everything. And I had LSU come out of that bracket. I really thought they were going to
Oh,
go through, and
okay.
and that didn't happen clearly. But I wouldn't be surprised if UCLA pulled it down. I like when other programs get into the mix. But
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Dawn. I just love everything about Coach Staley. Everything, everything. So
And again, I'll just reiterate, love for both of them to win. I just have this feeling that it's UCLA. I didn't think about that, and that's a good point. The emotion, and we've seen that before in other contests over the years as well, where you take out the nemesis, and then yeah, the next game maybe you don't have enough. I do want to say a couple of things, and I'm so glad the way you teed that up. That yeah, I haven't been a fan of the post game handshake for a long time. You and I, you know what? Let me ask you, what's the most physical of all the games of all the
yeah,
sports? Which is the one, maybe the top two that are the most physical? When you're thinking about the
I mean
NFL,
hockey and football.
yeah, right.
Sure.
Hockey at the end of a hockey game, the only time they do a handshake is at the end of the series,
Yep.
right? Because of how physical it is. Even in the NFL, I mean, the coaches do the handshake, but everybody else just kind of goes to say hey to whoever they want to, and then they leave.
Right.
I'm a fan
Usually previous teammates, whether it's college or pro, but you're rarely going up to someone besides the quarterbacks. You're not going up to someone that you don't know
that you don't
well
know.
already.
Right, right. Unless you want to make a connection, right? Like,
Right.
yeah. So I chuckled when you said it, folks, maybe who are looking at the screen, because I had a memory. I flashed back to, I think it was just a month or two ago, in the women's game where the Ole Miss coach and the Tennessee coach in the handshake line, the
Yeah.
Tennessee coach
Yep.
just went running right by, and the Ole Miss coach was like, kind of did a laugh afterward, like
Yeah.
after, and afterwards said, yeah, she just wasn't having a good day. Um, but that could have been a thing. Of course, we know about the Juwan Howard situation in Michigan a few years
Hmm.
ago. Like, there's a lot of examples. I'm like, why? Like, it just leads to drama.
Hmm.
So there's that. I've never been a fan of it. That's not an excuse for this, but just I've never been a fan of it. I like, and we actually did this when I was with Kutztown, 16 years ago. Shout out to Syracuse, where we had them in an exhibition at the Dome. National anthem. After the national anthem, we crossed, shook hands. I think we did a handshake line afterwards too, but I've seen a lot of times where you do that and then that's it. You play the game, you're done, and then you go to the locker room after the game. I'm a fan of that. To Gino, there's a man, the stuff that's going on. Everyone wants him to run away. He should retire. I'm like, listen, like y'all just I don't want to excuse what he did. It's 100% wrong, right? But the noise, I mean, he's UConn. He's the winningest coach. There's a lot of people that don't like him because he's won. There's also a lot of people who don't like him because of whatever's happened in the past, especially with Pat Summitt and with Muffet McGraw. Um, and I can't speak intelligently on it because I don't have all the details. But let's just look at the situation like you just did. Two competitors, um, two competitors. I have been in that spot as a coach numerous times where I'm coaching my team. The other team is being super aggressive. I'm mad at the rest because they're allowing it to be played that way. I'm super annoyed. I don't say anything to the coach. Actually, I say something to the refs. I don't say anything to the coach. So if that's your frustration, but then the context about the handshake at the beginning is where I think people are missing it. It's still not right, right? Well, he said they didn't shake hands, but they did shake. No, they shook hands during pregame. But then right before the starting lineups, There's usually the coaches come out, they shake hands during the Final Four, and then they do the lineup. He came out, she didn't. Last year they did, and that's where we had the hug, right? So that's his beef. But that's not reason to do what you did, right? I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree with it. You don't do that. And if you've got a little bit of a relationship with Dawn, good game. Afterwards, you say, hey, nothing but love, but before the game during the lineups, why didn't you come out? I wanted to give you some love, right? Just wanted to say, hey, that's probably when you do it, not there. So yeah, Gino, I don't like the apology. I wish I had Dawn in there, but at least we got an apology. And good luck to UCLA and USC. Just and it took, and here's what makes
Yeah,
it even worse, right? It took away from South Carolina as a coach. That was easy Fud's last game. There wasn't a
yeah,
moment for you to have that moment with her on the court because all that nonsense was going on. Like there's all of that that just makes it wrong. People make mistakes. I'm gonna give grace here and say, hey, I hope you're genuine with your apology. I hope you called Dawn and say, hey, I was wrong. That was messed up. I'm sorry. I hope all that happened. I hope all that happened.
yeah. That's the only thing. I mean, I'm not too like I don't really care about. I don't think it's that big a deal, but I
Yeah.
do where I call, BS when Gino is nothing 3 hours ago. I just coached and sweat and yelled and had emotional ride for the last 2.5 or 3 hours. Nothing that happened 3 hours ago is going to bother me at the end. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about the guy who cut me off in traffic. I'm not thinking about
Yeah. I'm with you.
the prank call I got. I'm
With
not
you.
thinking about stubbing my toe or anything. Like there's literally nothing, at least not to that degree, where I'm going to be upset. Like there in the moment. Yeah, if someone doubted me and picked South Carolina over us and then at the and then we win, then I may say something after, yeah, to all the haters, blah, blah, blah. But nothing is top of the mind with point whatever seconds left and some of your seniors last time. Like
Yeah.
that is not enough to get worked up.
Truth.
So unlike most folks, and
I'm with you.
contrary to what I said earlier, like I emotion and I don't think it was caught up in emotion. Or I shouldn't say that. I believe it was emotional, but it wasn't caught up in the emotion of the moment. It was like to me, it's almost like it was he was just fine looking for something.
And he,
Because there's no way you could be calm or shake your hand or be okay. At some point to the game, right? You were happy, or some points in the game you were calm or neutral or whatever, or you were looking for things. You can't go from that to, oh man, I'm so mad about 3 hours ago. Now I'm going to start cursing at this
yeah,
person. Like that
exactly.
it's not, there's no instance in history where I would accept that as, oh, you were so mad the whole game that you waited and at the very end you did that. And
Um,
and the final piece I'll say about this, that means that if you were winning, if you would have won that game by 30, you would have had the same reaction at the end about the handshake. Yes or no? And the answer is no.
yeah,
There's
the
no
answer's
way if he
no.
was winning by 30, he would have won up and did that at the handshake.
Because
So
he
if
had,
that's the case, then that leads me to believe that it was fabricated.
or, well, here's the other piece to it too. The rivalry could be, and we don't know this, right? The rivalry could be that intense, right? That the emotions completely overcame him, which is wrong too, right? And that's part of, I'm trying to remember who the player is from Tennessee. Oh, Candace Parker. Candace Parker said that. She's like, Gino, I don't like Gino. I don't like him. I don't like him. As competitors, I don't like him. So we have that rivalry. And if he and Dawn Staley have that, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, don't be
Mhm.
disrespectful to each other, and that's what you did at the end of the game, and that's not acceptable. But if you don't like each other, you don't like each other. Like that's okay. It's good to have a rivalry because we don't have enough of those anymore. Ben
Yeah,
Johnson and that coach up at Green Bay, who I won't say his name, they have a rivalry, and it's good, right? So it's okay to be rivals, but don't be disrespectful like that, and that's not cool.
yeah. Yeah.
And he could, and if he felt disrespected by what happened, he could have said that in a more eloquent way, in a more respectful way, and that didn't happen during the moment and even post game. And it did not appear as if that was the case. We've seen that, right? We saw Coach K approach, oh man, I need to have more coffee, Donray. He plays for the Phoenix Suns, used to be with the Houston Rockets. Brooks, when he was playing in college. Cook,
Scott. What? Oh,
oh, no,
Brooks.
is it
Oh,
Brooks?
The Oregon player, or
Yeah, he played at Oregon.
um,
I think he played at Oregon.
uh,
Yeah, why
I
am
can
I?
see him right
I'm
now.
struggling,
Uh,
man. He plays for Team Canada. Yeah, but you know who we're talking about. It'll come to our head, right? Coach K, I think it was at the end of the game. He
Let
put
me
up a
look it up.
shot in the tournament. Look it up. Okay. At the end of the tournament, this was a couple of years ago, he put up a shot or he was clowning or something. And then the handshake line, Krzyzewski, in a respectful way, went up to him and said, "Hey, you're a better player than that. Don't do that," right? There's a way to kind of have that kind of conversation-ish. That didn't happen. So
Dylan Brooks.
Dylan Brooks, thank you. So look it up, y'all. You know, if you're looking for examples, Ole Miss, Tennessee, look at Juwan Howard, look at Dylan Brooks and Mike Krzyzewski. That was not it Friday night. That was not it. Shout out to South Carolina. Shout out to UCLA. And you've got South Carolina tonight?
South Carolina.
Okay.
It's got I got to stick with it. So wait, you got UCLA, right?
I've got you. Yeah, it's just Lauren Betts. That's really
I'm
the
I'm I'm
difference.
I'm sticking with South Carolina.
Now, do I see South Carolina's going to run some doubles just like they did against Sarah Strong? Let's see how Lauren Betts does against that. I think Lauren Betts is a more polished post player to be able to handle that and handle those double teams and get the ball out. That's the difference. Sarah Strong didn't manage that well, and she will. She'll get better. She's a sophomore. But yeah, I think I got UCLA.
Ah,
It's going to
we'll
be
see.
close. It's
We'll
going to be
see.
close. It's certainly not going to
Yeah.
be Michigan,
Yeah.
Arizona last night. It's going to be close. So.
Speaking of which, on the men's side, my Wolverines,
Welcome back, Fab Five.
sheer dominance of
Surprise. Wow.
man, man.
Wow.
I mean, they're my squad, and I did not see that in a million years. I mean,
No.
they put it all together in that throttling of the
Truth.
Wildcats. What did you see? What do you think? I mean, can they be stopped? Is there a letdown coming, or are we just counting the time until they are hoisting that chip?
I think y- okay, hold on a second. Um, Surprise as well. Arizona has been a juggernaut, right? But Michigan has been as well. They just have been quiet about it. And here, because they have been running through and knocking everybody out. Um, but just kind of keeping quiet because all the attention has been on Dan Hurley and his stuff and the UConn versus Duke game. And then, of course, Florida and Houston losing. Like, attention has been elsewhere while Michigan has been putting in work. Last night, they showed it for the whole world to see. Um, so congrats to them. Congrats to Dusty May. Great to have the five Fab back. So glad that Chris Webber is back on the scene. I don't know, because on the other side of this, you also got UConn. You've got Dan Hurley, and whether you love him or hate him, they're back again. He is undefeated once his team gets to the Sweet 16. I think he's like 12-0 or something like that, right? Like just ridiculous. Illinois gave it a great game. Coach Underwood, you're wow, you look just like the actor Gleason. He was in Troy and a couple other movies. Y'all look like brothers. Um, so doppelganger,
You
whatever
know?
you call it, right? Yeah. So it's wild. I'm like, yo, y'all look like brothers. Um, Y'all gave him a run, but Coach Hurley, I mean, they've been running good stuff, right? They've got the freshman number 24 who's been hitting key shots. Uh, Caravan's been showing up in key spots. He overcame his tough game against Duke. I think this is going to be a really, really good final. I don't know who's going to win, Donner. I really don't, because they're both playing exceptional ball. I'm stuck.
That yes, that they are. I do think though, and this may be Homer bias, okay? Because typically I like to go with the team
You,
that's putting
man, you
forth
picking Michigan. It's
um,
okay,
the
man.
the best effort,
I'm surprised you
you
don't
know,
have a hat on,
the
man. I'm
best
surprised you
effort,
don't got
and
your jacket on.
I know, I was gonna rock it, but I decided not to, because I figured we wouldn't spend too much time on NHL. I had to go with the first six,
Ah,
the
nice.
original six hoodie.
Nice.
Sh give him a shout out, but so I can see how UConn could win it, but last night they Michigan showed that they have another gear and they can hit it because it's not like they cakewalk through the tournament. I mean, they had some run-ins. Heck, they didn't even win the Big Ten chip. I mean, it's not like they've been, you know, they've been formidable, but they haven't been, unbeatable over the last month.
Right.
They've shown some vulnerability, but that was, I mean, Arizona was the best four teams in the country going into the tournament, in my opinion. Clearly, for the first time in a long time, I thought there were four clear teams notches above the next tier, and I thought that was uh, Michigan, Duke, Florida, Arizona. Like I didn't think that those number one seeds were even. I didn't. This was the first year. I thought it was the clearest year in
Chalk.
my recollection of the top four were going to be chalk because there was just no one. I thought maybe Gonzaga would pull out some sort of, because every year that they're supposed to win it, they've fallen short. But back when they were underdogs, they actually made some noise. So I thought maybe they would somehow
Summon.
disrupt it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
really, I thought it was yeah, I thought it was going to go chalk the whole way. And um, Michigan defeated what I thought was the second or third best team in the country, destroyed them on
Hmm.
a huge stage after a lot of rest. There's no excuses for Arizona. They got out coached, outplayed, out everything. If put it like this, if Michigan plays the way they did last night, I don't think UConn.
Yes.
I don't
I
think it's
support
close.
that. I support
Like
that.
I think it's 12 to 15 point win, walk away win. If they don't play at that level, then yes, it's a coin flip at that point. But I think UConn's fate is in Michigan's hand as opposed to, if UConn comes out and plays their best game, then we got a shot. No. They come out and play their best game, but Michigan plays like last night. I don't think it matters.
I will say this, if they allow UConn to play physical, I think that'll have an impact and it'll be a closer game.
Okay,
I think we
sure.
will they will bring in a blueprint comparable to what South Carolina did against the UConn women's team. And that's Big East ball, right? That's why I enjoyed watching UConn against St. John's 3 times this year, because that's how it was. It was physical. So if they allow that to take place with some grace, there were some moments in that game against Illinois where it's like, hey, that was a pretty clear foul, and y'all let that go. Um, actually, let's hold. Big Ten was really good this year, Donray. Like we were what, 6 points away from having Illinois against Michigan in the final, which would have been huge. So
Yeah.
shout out to the Big Ten, right? Shout out to the Big Ten. Um, but I agree. If Michigan's running on all cylinders, UConn can't stop them. I'm with you on that. I can't believe I'm saying that about a Wolverine team, but I am. And shout out to the original six. Love that you're wearing the hoodie today. Blackhawks, can you do something, please? Like, just something.
I
Like,
just need this the Flyers to get in there. Feels
I
like it's been
know.
forever.
Before we move off of basketball real quick, I gotta Jerry McNamara, welcome home. Welcome home.
Yeah,
Welcome
big
home.
business.
Welcome
That's big
home.
news for you.
You're going to be hearing from me. Let's see if we can get a matchup like we did 16 years ago. Um,
Surprised it took so long.
yeah, I'm glad he's back. Coach Autry, nothing but respect. I wish he had the resources to be able to do it right. Best wishes to you. I think you just joined the staff at Virginia. So best wishes, Coach McNamara. Let's get it. Let's go it. Let's do it. Orange Nation.
And the fact that he did it at Siena or up there already, so he's got I mean he already had the name and
The,
whatnot, but he's
the,
demonstrated he can
yeah,
recruit and he can coach. Wow, how old are we that McNamara is coaching
he's back. Yeah.
the Qs?
And Sienna, hope y'all enjoyed it. Pride of Loudonville, New York. My brother lives right down the street, so shout out to Sienna. Good stuff. But yeah, get it. Go Cuse. And North Carolina, are you going to hire anybody? Who you going to hire? Is it going to be Billy Donovan? Take him from Chicago? We'll see.
You think he's
He
trying to go back?
he needs to be freed. The Bulls are the Eastern Conference's version of the Sacramento Kings right now, so he needs to be
Yikes.
freed. Yeah, Chicago is a mess. So yeah, we need to free Billy Donovan, and if that's where he goes, that's cool.
Free Billy.
Free Billy. We need to make some t-shirts. So we want to do a flash of the NBA real quick as we're
Yeah,
hitting
yeah.
the home stretch. We got what? I
Yep.
think like 9 days until the season ends and we hit the playoffs. I'll jump in to say on the East, I know I'm one of like 10,000 people who are surprised that the Boston Celtics were able to keep it afloat. Not only keep it afloat, but to keep it rolling while Tatum was out. And now that he's back and they're building up to full strength with him, they're my team out of the East. They are. It would be awesome to see the Pistons, just from even as a Bulls fan, I can say that uh, um, for nostalgia purposes. But I think it's the Celtics. I'd love to see a Celtics Knicks Eastern Conference Final. That'd be good as well for nostalgia purposes. Meanwhile, out west, excuse me, I do think it's wide open. I really do. But at the end of the day, it's probably the Thunder and the Spurs, and if the Spurs can stay healthy, why not? Why not? So that's my take. Let's see if we can get a Spurs versus Celtics final. So
It pains me to say Celtics, so I
I
won't.
know, me too.
Uh, um, Realistically, I concur with everything that you laid out. Here's where my delusion sets in because
I love
I
this part.
know if they all play, Sixers can make a run and be a dark horse.
I'm with it.
But they never did.
They
They
never,
never do. Paul George is giving you zero reason to believe that he has another level in playoffs over his history, um, over
and
his recent history.
yeah, Embiid gets a weird
Embiid
injury out of nowhere.
Embiid has given you zero reason to believe he's going to stay healthy through it all. I'm not saying he won't play, but be healthy through it all. Um, the one unknown is VJ.
Yeah,
VJ's not played like a rookie all year, and so could it be that he has another level that we're unaware of? Maybe.
with, with
Um,
Tyrese. Yep,
but other than that, so that's what I'm hoping for. But uh, you know what? I'll say it seems like it's not a big deal because they're, at the top already. But Detroit, I mean, the East is so inconsistent with the exception of Boston, um, that
I'm with it.
I'm thinking that it wouldn't
When they
kind
get
of,
Cade Cunningham back, right? He's still out, isn't he?
yeah, but they're playing. I
Yeah,
always say every team needs that. Every big team, no matter what sport, especially basketball, when you get a chance to play without your star, when you get a chance to everyone get find their rhythm, find their flow. Now you can rely on them more during the postseason, get their confidence up or whatnot. You see what they are. So I don't think that was a problem for them. I think that probably just helped
their cause.
their cause. Now he gets in foul trouble or they're without him for whatever reason. They know
Kind of
what
like
they can do.
kind of like the Celtics right now with Tatum being out for half the
Right,
season.
right. It, right. As long as it's not some sort of ball hogging, individual that when they come back in, no one can get their feet about them. I think it's only going to help them. So I'll say Detroit out the East. And I tell you what, San Antonio,
I told you.
I'm with you. I'll take San Antonio. I think that crazy with a first round pick. That's why you tank in the NBA.
Yep, and there they are.
That's why you tank. And this is just a case for why they're going to keep doing it because here's what can happen. So, yep. I'm sorry I'm not getting all trying to find some cool picks or whatnot, but I want to stick with those two. Um, yeah, I'll say the Detroit makes a fool out of the doubters, myself included. I am also a doubter, but I think they make a fool out of us.
I'm with
So
it. I'm with it, man.
that's where I'm going with that. I think we will have to come back around and so much more, right? Baseball just got started. Hockey is coming down there towards the end as well. Um, there's a lot going on, so we've definitely got to circle back, and then the World Cup isn't too far away.
It's here. Oh, this was good, man. Glad we could chop this up. Welcome back.
All right, brother. Well, any parting words before we wrap this reunion episode up?
Yeah, I'll just say to my Bears again, as the helmet's here behind me. Just shout out right there. Looking forward to the draft. Really sad to see some of the guys leave due to free agency. So just shout out to them, especially Jaquan Brisker. I love number 9 from Penn State. Jaquan Brisker, good luck with the Steelers. Nothing but love there. And shout out to my wife and daughter. I want to give them a shout out, setting a little bit of a record. Kutztown Lady Cougars getting themselves to the playoffs 2 months ago for the first time in like 15 years or something crazy. So shout out to them, no doubt. And that's what I got. Looking forward to the spring. Yankees, you're looking good. Looking good. Aaron Judge, keep it going. But I'm looking forward to the championships here. Good luck to all 4 teams. And I think we got Michigan, UCLA. Those are my. I'm with you. I got Michigan out of the men and UCLA on the
All
women.
right, some
And you
old
got
school
South
squad.
Carolina, and you got South Carolina, Michigan. So let's see how we end up.
That's right. So we'll see how that goes. My shout outs also congratulatory towards the squad. Coach York at Kutztown getting extended. Um, the Lady Cougars at Kutztown Area High School as well. Akron Zips making a run. I can't believe Coach Croce is moving on. I
Ooh,
can't believe, but I just thought he'd be going. I'm surprised he's going to another mid-major, but
yeah,
much love. And then to Zero Gamer Edits. There's some video out there. Check it out. Some Minecraft things and some other whatnot. Shout out to you. Put
love it.
the the tag in the description or
Yeah,
whatnot.
that'd be great.
Um, that's all I got. I'm looking forward to a new baseball season and
Let's do it.
Final Four time. This is it. There's where the brackets finalized. Some people gonna be pins and needles to win their bracket. Other people gonna be heartbroken. It's also part of it. Can't wait for that final one shining moment. Um,
Love it.
um,
Luther Vandross. Yes.
Luther Vandross is my favorite part of the culmination of it. So
Love it.
can't
Oh,
wait.
into the Masters. Why y'all not playing Ray Charles's Georgia on My Mind anymore? What's up? I don't even know who this new cat is that you be playing on your commercials. Like, that's not cool. So,
Did not realize that.
yeah,
Didn't catch
yeah,
that.
yeah. So shout out to the Masters and not a good way. Why are you not using Ray Charles anymore? That's weird. Um, and we got to give Iowa Barnstormers Andre Coles.
Andre
Shout
Coles.
out,
Shout
Cassell and
out.
Towns. Peace and love, y'all. See y'all
All right.
soon for our next episode.
Peace.
Deuces.